I believe the central issue in the 2016 election will be reigniting the promise of America. Getting back to that fundamental ideal, that fundamental commitment that our kids will have a better life than we did, and their kids will have a better life than they did.
We have before us a serious question of electability. A leading candidate for the time being, whom many swear has zero chance of attaining the GOP nomination simply because of his views. This as the only man with a libertarian sensibility decides to call it a day. How this all sways the public view heading for New Hampshire is at the forefront of our thinking right now. He is the veteran political observer, presidential historian, and New York Times best-selling author. Welcome Craig Shirley back to the Hardline. All right, Craig, let's go ahead and start out with the man who has now left us behind. Rand Paul has finally decided, under 5% in the Iowa caucuses and short on money, that it's time to go. There are those I have already spoken to today who tell me that they believe this is a death knell for the time being for American libertarianism. Do you agree?
Well, no, I don't agree, although I will say I'm very sad to see the Rand Paul withdraw from the race. He had a lot of spice to the debate. I think he was the most intellectually stimulating candidate of 2016. But his presence is not forgotten. His ideas and his issues will continue on in 2016. And of course, he'll still be around. He has a bright political future. He's a young man, and who knows what's going to happen in 2016 or in 2020. So, you know, a lot of candidates don't make it on the first time, and including Ronald Reagan, who didn't make it till his third time.
He was trying to infuse, Rand Paul that is, libertarianism with conservatism. Are they manageable in any sense of the word? Can you put them together?
You know, that's interesting, Ed, because, you know, Reagan did an interview with Reason magazine in 1975, and he said that libertarianism was the fundamental basis for conservatism. And if you think about it, is that if we derive conservatism from the framers, who derived their view of freedom from the Enlightenment, and the Enlightenment came from God, then libertarianism, which means individuality, privacy, and maximum freedom, then that is conservatism. So libertarianism, to my mind anyway, is another way of saying conservatism.
I'm going to miss him because, as you said, I mean, as many people have said, very erudite in the discussions and certainly in the debates, certainly brought an intellectually stimulating call to the debates, which, quite frankly, we are missing far too often. I got about 2 minutes left, so let's focus on Ted Cruz here for a minute. Some people saying that he is simply unelectable because he is far too right and far too extreme on some issues. You wrote an article saying that he needs an issue if he wants to win, and you believe, and this shocked me, Craig, you think it's eminent domain? I got to tell you, I don't think 90% of the people would know what that is.
No, you're right. They don't know what eminent domain is, even though it is in the Constitution. But they do know about government seizing property and private property rights. You know, the framers, the founders, when they originally drafted the Declaration of Independence, it was life, liberty, and the pursuit of property. It was only later changed to the pursuit of happiness. Private property is sacred in America, and I believe that it would set up a nice dialogue for him against Donald Trump and him against government to defend private property rights, private individuals against government overreach, including illicit taking of private property.
But do you think it might take too long to explain? And again, I'm not trying to say that people are dumb, but it might take too long to explain what it is, and then people will get lost, their eyes glaze over, you lose a debate, you lose their vote.
Well, it depends on how well he makes the debate and makes the argument. I think that if he makes the argument quickly and understandably, then he can make it his signature issue in the way that Reagan made the Panama Canal Treaties his signature issue in 1976.
I got about 30 seconds left. Do you believe, as some do, that Ted Cruz is simply unelectable because he is too extreme on certain issues?
You know, virtually every man who has been elected president of the United States, many were considered unelectable before they're actually elected. The only man who was considered to be qualified and electable before he was president was George Washington. Ronald Reagan was considered to be unelectable, a grade B actor with premature orange hair, and that he was in the 1970s, and then he turned out to be one of our greatest presidents. Is that, you know, I tell people is that Ronald Reagan wasn't Ronald Reagan before Ronald Reagan was Ronald Reagan, and we can't see the future, so we don't know whether or not Ted Cruz is going to be the nominee, the next president of the United States, or even a good president. So, but I think he has a fundamental understanding of the presidency. He has a fundamental understanding of the Constitution. Is a man of good character.
There you go. We have to end it there, Craig. We're out of time, but as you said, we cannot tell the future, but we'll try to talk about it. Craig Shirley, thanks so much for joining us. The Hardline continues.